Have you ever wondered if there are emotional signs that could predict when someone's life might be drawing to a close? It's a sobering thought, but medical science has uncovered something remarkable. 4 specific emotional changes that can predict mortality in seniors with an astonishing 72% accuracy within just 1 year. Before we dive deeper into these critical warning signs, if you find this kind of life-saving information valuable, consider hitting that subscribe button. I regularly share evidence-based content that could make all the difference for you or someone you love. What makes these emotional shifts so dangerous is how easily they're overlooked. Family members often dismiss them as just part of aging, when in reality, they're sophisticated biological alarm systems signaling that something is seriously wrong. By the time these signs are recognized, precious time has often already been lost. Let me share a story that illustrates just how crucial this awareness can be. William was a vibrant 76-year-old who seemed to be aging gracefully. He lived independently, managed his affairs well, and regularly participated in family gatherings. His loved ones noticed subtle changes in his emotional state, nothing dramatic. At first, just slight shifts in his outlook and behavior. They chalked it up to normal aging until his doctor revealed something shocking. These weren't harmless changes, but critical warning signs that William's body was preparing for the end. Within just 8 months of these emotional shifts appearing, William was gone. His devastated family later discovered these signs could have been addressed if recognized early, potentially extending his life. They shared their heartbreaking experience, hoping others might avoid similar pain. Now, let's explore these 4 emotional changes that medical research has linked to mortality within a year. Warning sign number 1. Persistent sadness that doesn't lift. First warning sign is a persistent sadness that simply won't go away, regardless of circumstances or events. This isn't ordinary blues or temporary melancholy. It's your body sending up red flags. Groundbreaking research from Johns Hopkins Medical Center has revealed that chronic sadness triggers a cascade of stress hormones that directly suppress immune function and damage cardiovascular health. Dr. Alison Keller, a leading gerontologist at Johns Hopkins, explains, when sadness persists for weeks without relief, it creates an inflammatory response throughout the body that accelerates organ deterioration and significantly increases mortality risk in seniors. Consider Deborah, a 74-year-old retired teacher from Arizona. For months, she experienced an emotional heaviness that wouldn't lift. Her children noticed but assumed it was just part of getting older. "Mom's just slowing down," they told each other. When they finally convinced her to see a doctor, tests revealed her persistent sadness had triggered dangerous inflammation throughout her body, particularly affecting her heart. Her physician was alarmed by how her emotional state had caused measurable physical decline. If you recognize this warning sign in yourself or someone you love, here's what you should do immediately. First, don't dismiss persistent sadness as normal. Contact your doctor within 48 hours and specifically mention the duration and consistency of these feelings. Request a complete physical exam, including inflammatory markers and heart function tests. Second, implement what researchers at UCLA call the 10-minute joy intervention, which has been shown to reduce inflammatory markers by up to 23% in seniors experiencing chronic sadness. Each morning, spend 10 minutes doing something, anything, that once brought you pleasure, even if it doesn't seem appealing now. The activity itself matters less than the consistent daily practice. Don't wait until you feel better to take action. The biological damage from persistent sadness happens whether you acknowledge it or not, and acting quickly could literally add years to your life. Warning. Sign the Burger 2. Withdrawal from social connections. Have you noticed yourself or a loved one pulling away from family gatherings, declining invitations, or spending less time with friends? This withdrawal isn't just a preference for solitude. It's one of the most reliable predictors of approaching mortality. A landmark study from Brigham Young University found that social isolation increases mortality risk by a staggering 29%, making it more dangerous than obesity or smoking 15 cigarettes daily. Dr. James Thompson, lead researcher at the National Institute on Aging, explains, "When seniors begin withdrawing from social connections they previously enjoyed, it often signals that the body is conserving energy for essential functions only, a classic end-of-life preservation mechanism that many don't recognize until it's too late." If you're enjoying this content and finding it valuable, please take a moment to hit the like button. It helps others discover this potentially life-saving information too. Thomas, a 79-year-old retired accountant from Oregon, started declining weekly dinner invitations with his family. "I'm just tired," he would say, or "You go ahead without me." His social circle shrank rapidly over just 3 months. What his family didn't realize was that this withdrawal wasn't a choice. It was his body signaling severe physiological decline. Within 7 months of this pattern emerging, Thomas suffered a fatal stroke. His doctor later explained that his social withdrawal was a critical warning sign they had missed. If you recognize this pattern in yourself or someone you love, here's what you must do. First, treat social withdrawal as a medical emergency, not a personal choice. Schedule a comprehensive health assessment, focusing specifically on neurological and cardiovascular function. Tell your doctor exactly when the withdrawal behavior began. Second, implement what geriatric specialists call the 5-5-5 reconnection protocol. Make 5 minutes of social contact with 5 different people over 5 days each week, even when you don't feel like it. This can be as simple as a phone call, a brief visit, or even a meaningful text exchange. Research shows this minimum social contact threshold helps reverse the physiological damage of isolation. Third, create connection without exhaustion by inviting one person to your home for a brief, structured visit of 30 minutes or less. This maintains social bonds without depleting limited energy reserves. Remember, this isn't about enjoyment, it's about survival. Warning, sign number 3, loss of purpose and resignation. Have you heard yourself or a loved one say things like, "What's the point anymore?" or "I've lived long enough"? These statements of resignation aren't philosophical musings. They're powerful predictors of imminent mortality that too many people ignore. Research published in the Journal of American Geriatrics reveals that loss of purpose is directly linked to accelerated physical decline through measurable biological pathways. Dr. Victoria Reed, Director of Longevity Research at Stanford Medical Center, warns, when seniors express resignation or loss of purpose, their bodies begin producing less of the regenerative hormones needed for cell repair and immune function. We can literally measure the decline in vital biomarkers within weeks of this emotional shift. Elena, an 82-year-old widow from Pennsylvania, had been actively involved in her community for decades. Suddenly, she told her son, "I don't see the point in joining anything anymore. I've done everything I wanted to do." Her family wasn't particularly concerned. She seemed physically healthy and remained independent. But within 3 months, she developed pneumonia, and despite having successfully fought off more serious illnesses in the past, her body couldn't recover. Her doctor explained that her loss of purpose had compromised her immune system, making a relatively common infection fatal. If you recognize this warning sign, here's what you must do. First, treat expressions of resignation as a serious medical symptom. Schedule an appointment with your doctor immediately and specifically mention these feelings. Request testing for key regenerative biomarkers, including DHEA, growth hormone levels, and immune function. Second, implement the purpose reactivation technique developed at Yale's Longevity Center. Identify one small daily action that benefits someone else. Something as simple as making a phone call to check on a neighbor, sending an encouraging message to a grandchild, or feeding local birds. The action must benefit another living thing and must be done daily. Research shows this simple practice increases survival rates by triggering the production of regenerative hormones. Third, create a legacy project, something that extends your influence beyond your lifetime. This could be organizing family, photos with stories, sharing wisdom through recorded conversations, or volunteering for a cause that will continue after you're gone. The project itself matters less than your engagement with something that extends beyond your immediate life. Don't wait until you feel motivated. These actions must be taken despite feelings of resignation, not after they've improved. Warning. Sign there are 4. Unexplained anxiety or agitation. Have you noticed new feelings of anxiety, restlessness, or irritability that seem out of character? Or perhaps you've observed a normally calm senior suddenly becoming agitated without clear cause. This unexpected emotional shift is one of the most frequently missed warning signs of imminent mortality. Research from Mayo Clinic's Department of Geriatric Medicine has documented that unexplained anxiety in seniors often signals serious underlying physiological distress that may not show up on standard medical tests. Dr. Michael Rodriguez, Chief of Geriatric Cardiology at Mayo Clinic, explains, "We found that sudden anxiety or agitation in previously calm seniors often indicates reduced oxygen supply to vital organs or neurological changes that precede major medical events. The body essentially sounds an alarm before clinical symptoms become obvious." Robert, a 75-year-old retired professor known for his calm demeanor, suddenly began pacing, expressing worry about minor issues and having trouble sitting still during his favorite TV programs. When his wife mentioned it to friends, they suggested it was probably just stress or possibly early dementia. But the change was so unlike him that she insisted on a thorough medical evaluation. Tests revealed Robert was experiencing silent heart failure. His anxiety was his body's urgent warning system. Because they caught it early, doctors were able to intervene before a potentially fatal cardiac event. If you recognize this warning sign, here's what you must do. First, seek immediate medical attention. Not next week, not tomorrow, today. Specifically, tell your doctor about the timing of this emotional change and insist on comprehensive cardiovascular and neurological evaluation, including oxygen saturation testing. Second, implement the 4-7-8 breathing technique, developed by Dr. Andrew Weil at the Arizona Center for Integrative Medicine. Inhale quietly through your nose for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 7 seconds, then exhale completely through your mouth for 8 seconds. Repeat 4 times, twice daily. This technique has been shown to increase oxygen saturation and reduce the stress hormones that can accelerate decline. Third, eliminate all caffeine immediately, not gradually, but completely. Research shows that seniors experiencing this warning sign have heightened sensitivity to stimulants, which can escalate the underlying physiological distress. Even small amounts of caffeine can trigger a dangerous cascade effect when this warning sign is present. Don't dismiss new anxiety as just stress or senior moments. Your body is trying desperately to tell you something is wrong. Taking action could save a life. These 4 emotional changes, persistent sadness, social withdrawal, loss of purpose, and unexplained anxiety, aren't just psychological states. They're powerful physical signals that your body is in trouble. The 72% mortality correlation isn't just statistics. It represents real people whose lives might have been extended if these warning signs had been recognized and addressed. But here's the hopeful truth. Knowing these signs gives you power. By recognizing these emotional changes for what they truly are, biological warning systems, you can take immediate action that may literally add years to your life. Each of the interventions I've shared has been researched specifically for seniors showing these warning signs, and each has demonstrated measurable impact on survival rates. The key is to act quickly when you recognize these signs in yourself or someone you love. Don't dismiss them as normal aging or temporary moods. Treat them with the same urgency you would chest pain or difficulty breathing, because they're equally important signals that something is wrong. You now know exactly what to watch for and precisely what steps to take If you recognize any of these warning signs, this knowledge gives you an advantage that most seniors and their families simply don't have. Use it to protect yourself and those you love. These emotional changes don't have to be a death sentence. They can be the wake-up call that saves your life. If you found this information valuable, please share this video with someone you care about who might benefit from this critical information. It could literally save their life. In the comments, let me know which of these 4 emotional warning signs surprised you the most. I read every comment, and your feedback helps me create content that matters to you.